Welcome back to part 2. Now, I hope you're loving the heat, because in the UK at the moment it is roasting. So now it's time to get some more ignition time in on this. But before we do, off the last video, I got the AFR gauge sorted out, so we got out and run and to see what the fuel was in it, and it's spot on. Even more spot on because I found there was an extra modification I could do to the metering head. So while I was working on another Porsche 94 combo metering head for someone else, I stumbled across a little modification I could do to increase the movement of the arm, so the arm can top out physically, then the fueling can do as much as it wants. So I'll show you in principle what I've done now. I'll show you some pictures and then we'll watch the video of the fueling. So here we are back to our metering head. Now this is obviously demonstration purposes because it's in half. So air flap goes up, ignore the fuel pin at the moment. So the air flap's at full throttle. That noise is, that part there is contacting the body up here, and it's also contacting there and there. So with the CO2 set, my arm was still bottoming out on there. So what we've done is attacked it with a die grinder, literally starting there, literally probably follow that line down just to that caster mark, and the same on the other side. So it alleviates the arm hitting that, which allows the arm to rise fully up to the arm here and bottoms out on the body here. So that is as much as the arm can physically move. So you're literally going to get no more air in. That's it. It's bottom topped out, and it's made a huge difference. The lift on the 924 metering head, measuring it from the edge of the plate here to there, was 26 mil on the stock Porsche 94 metering head with the CO2 screw set at 3.4%. Doing that modification took it up to, I can't remember now, was it 26? I got 6 mil more lift. 6 mil, that's huge. I think it was 28 actually, and I went to 32. I think 26 was the other metering head I'm working on. But yeah, 6 mil lift, 6 mil difference from there to there I got. I mean, that's massive. Right, so I'll try and explain this as best I can. So, fundamentals of an engine with timing. Now you have TDC and BDC. So TDC is top dead center. That's the highest point the piston goes before it either goes down, well, before it goes back down. Bottom dead center is obviously the bottom. Now we're focused on top dead center. Now, 16-hour engine, the static timing is, the timing is 6 degrees before top dead center. So what do we mean by for top dead center? Right, you have the piston coming up the block, and then it goes past TDC, goes back down the block. Now before top dead center is before, so when you say 6 degrees before top dead center, that's the point the spark system ignites. So you think, why is it igniting before it goes past top dead center? Well, it takes a certain amount of time for the fuel and air mixture to burn, a burn rate. Now this cylinder head, or this cylinder heads, are a penthouse design, so they're designed like that. Spark plug in the middle, which means you have a very quick burn rate compared to other design cylinder heads. So it's a very good cylinder head. So it takes a certain amount of time. So at 6 degrees, boom, the spark has happened. That ignites one set of air and fuel molecules. That explodes, creates a bit of pressure. That then jumps to the next one, and the next one. Chain reaction happens. That goes through the whole volume of air fuel in the cylinder, and again it's building more and more and more pressure. Now at the point the air fuel mixture should be all burnt and it's at its maximum pressure is just where that piston's gone past TDC and is already coming back down. Now the peak cylinder pressure is normally from a stock point, I think about 5 to 8 degrees past TDC. So you've got all that pressure, the piston's gone past the maximum pressure, the piston goes down the cylinder, turns the crank, through the gearbox, and we move forward quickly. So what we want to do is bring that point of cylinder pressure closer to TDC, just after. Now what you don't want to do is have that peak cylinder pressure before TDC, because that's what you get knock, or your pre-detonation, or pinking. If you haven't heard it before, do a Google or YouTube, you'll find a video of the noise of it. Or get a medium ball bearing in an empty bean can, knock it around. That's what it sounds like. Once you've heard it, you can't forget it. So currently this is at 12 degrees before top dead center, so that's 6 degrees more. And that was set at 12 when it was 188 break. Now that's all that's doing is adding a global 6 degrees shift in the spark map, which I'll show you in a minute. You'll understand how it's going. So that is then allowing 12 degrees before top dead center. That's when the spark point happens. So that's taking that time burn rate to bring that peak cylinder pressure closer to TDC. So you've got more force on the piston going down. The higher the piston has gone past TDC, you've got more of a force down. If the piston's already travelling down and then it boom goes, you've lost power. Now the stock maps I'll put up in a minute. I've got the stock one. I'll do a screenshot of that, and I'll do the 3 sort of Excel spreadsheet type things you'll see in a minute. We have vacuum on an engine, so idling the engine as vacuum, which means the throttle body's closed, the engine's running, the pistons go down, it's drawing vacuum. So the time is at a different point. And when the throttle's open, there's no vacuum. The then timing goes from one part of the grid to the other. So literally, you're going to start here at 6 degrees before top dead center. You'll go across to your atmospheric pressure, 1001 megabars, something like that, and then it will follow down to that's your peak timing. So that's what we're aiming to achieve. Get out of it. Naughty fly. Yeah, so that's what we're aiming to achieve. So I'll put up the 3 graphs now, and you'll sort of see how we're going, and then we'll move on to actually getting the car warmed up, set up, and getting the timing gun on it, ready to set the timing to where we want it for next run out with the deck cans on, which I'll show you what I've made, and then we can see how we're going. So here we have is our stock timing. This is the basic. As you get it, all the details and numbers are right. So there's a rider region 975499, and then here is our 6 degrees before top dead center ignition advance. Now at the top row you've got your megabar, so this end you've got high vacuum as in your throttle's closed and it's idling, and then the other side you've got wide open throttle, atmospheric pressure, and you're going to start off at 6 degrees, and then it will follow roughly along this line with a wide open throttle down to that lower line where we are maxing out at 24 degrees, 25 degrees, 26, pushing right at red line. So that is what we're looking at on the stock timing map. So next one, this is we're at 12 degrees. So again, idle region 975499. 12 degrees is where our ignition advance is set at idle. Again, all the numbers below there, I've let it changed in red. Anything the other side of that, not interested. So again, following that same path, dropping down there, and then we're tickling it up to 32 degrees max advance. Now next one is what we're trying next is 14 degrees. So again, we've got idle region, and then our 14 degrees ignition advance, and then again we run down that side, drop it down, and we're hitting up 32 degrees. Right, so it's time to get our deck cans on. Now what are deck cans? Detonation canisters, and all it is, a pair of earphones. These are, what are they? Bear with. I drilled through the hole where it said what it was. They're like 32 decibels, so quite big ones. Now you want some tube, a T-piece, and the important part, bit of copper pipe. Now you have been to the doctors where they've checked your heartbeat. Exactly the same thing. Put this on your ears, bolt that on the engine, and you can hear when the engine is knocking or pre-detonating. Now where do we bolt this? I'll show you. So here's one I made earlier. So this bolt here is where the crank sensor would bolt on this engine, a 9A. Now that's a 9A, it's the same as your KR block. Again, that's where you want to bolt it. So sorry, there. But yeah, same bolt, even on the older engines. What's this, Audi ABK on there. Now you want this really the highest point in the block, because you want it near the head gasket, because this is where the noise is going to happen in this gap. So that's the highest point you can really get it. Obviously these bolts were used. So feed it through the car, bolt it on there, and all it is, a bit of copper pipe, bend it over twice, drill a hole through it, and you'll see you can actually hear quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is feed it through the bulkhead round so I can have it in the cabin, and then we'll get out on the road and see what we can hear with the adjustment of the time we've made. So we're out doing ignition timing, like I said. Get the car warm first. Once the fan's cut in, that's generally working temperature. Now we're not just increasing the timing just to get a knock. We obviously don't want a knock to occur, because that can cause catastrophic damage to the engine. Do not want that. But also feeling the car. I mean, I test cars on live on the road because I can feel what the car's doing. I know the roads. I know when I stick my foot down on this bit of road or this corner in this gear, I know how the car should feel. So I'm also feeling the engine. So I might be able to get 16 degrees of ignition advance on this, but I might have stopped gaining any beneficial power or any torque at 14. So it's sort of a balance. It's quite hard to explain unless you've done it. Like knock, unless you've heard knock, it's very hard to describe what it sounds like.
Wanna shake the ground, wanna break away, let loose. I'm tired of waiting, gotta make that move. All the neon signs, now they shout to me and you to write our story. Wanna shape the new.
That's about, I took it up to 13, it was at 12, put it up to 13, just here, because you're not getting full advance until like 4,000 RPM, between 3 and 4,000, you can just, they tow it, and they're driving really close, tow it, just hear it a little bit. As soon as you hit 4, obviously it's got full advance, can't hear nothing, but at 13, just at sort of 6,000 you can just hear it tickling. It's quite hard. There's a noisy engine. When if you make one of these up and you drive it, you'll hear it's a noisy engine. It's very hard to pick it up. So I'm going to drop it back to 12. What was I on? No, sorry, I'm dropping it back to 12 and a half. I'm on 13 now. I'm going to drop it back to 12.5. See where we're at. So that's it, that's where we're at. We've got the car at 12.5 degrees. I don't want to push it anymore because starting to feel the results not diminish. Is it diminishing? Something like that. Any more than that, you could just hear knock starting to come on between 3 and 4,000 on. Like I said, after that, full advance. Got nothing but a 12.5. Just a hint of it just before full advance comes on. Once full advance is on, yeah, it pulls like a train and it feels alive. So all I do now is go to the rolling road next week. So look forward to that video where hopefully we'll crack 200 brake horsepower. If we don't, never mind. See you in the next one. Cheers for watching. Bye.